dog or cat owner, how much would you be prepared to pay in vet's bills if your pet was injured or it fell ill? On the line, I've got Joanne Lawrence from Rugby, whose dog, Khan, was badly hurt when he fell off a bridge last summer. And she ran up a vet's bill of £6,500. Morning, Joanne.
Good morning, Shane.
Boy, you must love that dog.
Oh, don't I just?
Goodness sake, he's a gold-plated canine by the sound of it.
Well, yeah, but I don't really find any gold parts in her.
No. What happened to her? How did she end up falling off the bridge, first of all?
Basically, we were out on a family walk. My children went up to the top of the bridge to go and have a look, obviously, what was up there. She followed, and I gave her a recall, and she just jumped straight over the top.
Good grief. What, kind of, like, lost her bearings or something, did she?
I don't know what happened. Yeah, basically, I think she just lost her bearings, wanted to get back to me, and just took the route she thought was the shortest.
You must have been beside yourself. I mean, was she immediately, apparently badly injured, was she?
Yeah, you could tell straight away, obviously watching the whole thing, as soon as she hit the ground, you could just tell that there was no life in her. I personally thought she was actually going to die.
Right.
You know, it was heartbreaking to watch something you love just there, and there's nothing you could do at the time. You know, I was totally lost.
Yeah. And you don't get any help in these. I always think with pets, you know, like if you're with a family member and they get injured, you've got somebody to phone. You can phone 999 and somebody will come and help you. But in this situation, you have to get the animal to the vets, don't you? Immediately.
Well, that's right. And at the same time, my dad actually collapsed. So I was actually dealing with a 999 call as well.
Right.
So you know, torn between two things that you care so deeply for.
Yes.
You know, it was an awful ordeal, really. It really was.
So what did you do? What did you manage to get her moved, scooped up, and into the car, off to the vet? So how did you get her there in the end?
Well, in the end, finally, my dad was taken off in an ambulance, and I managed to get my mum to wait down the lane where obviously I put Khan into her car.
Yeah.
I then had to transfer her into my vehicle and then drive her to the vets. But it was about an hour till she got there.
And was she moving or making much noise at that stage?
No, there was no noise at all. She wasn't vocal. She wasn't even responding to me. She was just laying there.
How awful. You got her to the vets, and what, they immediately started to work on her, did they?
Yeah, they rushed out with a stretcher, because I'd obviously rang a friend and informed her to let the vets know, you know, so when I was there it was ready.
Yeah.
Basically, they then took her up on a stretcher, told me there was nothing I could do to come back in an hour, which was the most, you know, longest hour I've ever had.
Yeah.
I turned up back at the vets expecting the worst, but lucky enough, you know, she was still with us. She was very heavily sedated because of the pain that obviously her body was in. And basically it all went from there, really.
She's had, to cut a very long story short, she's had in the interim, 5 operations. She's had 10 sedations, multiple X-rays,
yes.
And you did have pet insurance though, didn't you?
Yes, I was insured up to 2,500 per accidental damage.
Right.
Which obviously they did pay out, which was brilliant.
Which you kind of think is enough, isn't it? I mean, if somebody said to me, I got $2,500 on my dog, you'd say, well, that'll be okay, won't it?
Well, you know, one break, that would probably have covered.
Right.
But 3, and multiple fractures. You know, she's had basically ligament and tendon damage to her front leg.
Yeah.
Which needed to be fused together. It all adds up. The amount of medication that she was on, you know, obviously that's an expensive deal on its own. And all in all, you know, with the vet trip she's had to do, we were at the vets nearly every day for quite a few weeks. The bandage changes, they all add up. You know, it's an expensive game.
Absolutely. And essentially, I mean, you've had to, find $4,000 out your own pocket, have you, so far?
Well, we've had a lot of help from other people, but the $4,000 you know, we've had support from companies and different things like that, and we've found some of it ourselves.
Hey, when you say you've had support from other companies, what do you mean? How's that worked?
Tail Waggers Club Trust, they're obviously there to help people that can't quite reach their vet bills. They've donated £450 to Khan.
Wow.
A dog training school, Ashlawn Dog Training School in Rugby, they donated £100. You know, people have really helped. Republic themselves, there is an online donation site for Khan. We've had about £400 from that. So, you know, a lot of people have helped us out.
They are amazing, aren't they? Well,
They are.
well done to all of them. If I'd have said to you at the start of all of this, and this is the thing, is that you kind of get into it, and then it's kind of a drip feed as the treatment goes on. But if you'd have known at the start of all of this, it would have cost you £6,500. Would you still, without a thought, have said it's got to be done?
I don't know. I didn't really have that option. You know, we were told that it would sort of cost a certain amount. Sadly, Khan's had a lot more things happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably would have done if I'd known she was going to be 100%. She's nearly there now.
Right.
I think, to be truthful, at the time, you don't think of the money. You just try to do your best. And as I got further and further into it, you just sort of... a little bit more, you know, you've got to go that far, haven't you, really?
And what about the reaction of other people? I mean, do people say, oh, it's only a pet, it's only a dog?
That's the one I've heard quite a bit of. It's only a dog.
There's people who don't own pets, I think, who say that, though, because I'm a cat person, but I can fully empathise with what you're going through, because they become part of the family, don't they? There's no question.
She is. She's part of, you know, she's part of this family. The day we chose to go and get her, you know, it took us a long time to decide to get a dog.
Yeah.
You know, because we know all the things that can happen. You know, you've got to get the treatment from it, and it's not cheap.
Well, I've heard of the $6 million man. I've never heard of the £6,500 dog. So maybe there's a TV show in the offing. You never know.
Oh, never know. The next Lassie.
Joanne, good to talk to you. Give her a tickle under the chin for us, will you?
I will do.
Oh, thanks for being with us this morning. Joanne Lawrence there spent £6,500, £2,500 on pet insurance, but £6,500 in total on her pet dog Khan.